Hello. Prime is a UK Christian charity focused on restoring the heart of healthcare. What do we mean by that? Well, if you need to go to a clinic or surgery for medical advice, I wonder what you hope for in the doctor you consult. Certainly all the scientific knowledge and skills for making a correct diagnosis and prescribing the best treatment. But there's more than that, isn't there? When asked, most people can easily think of many other qualities that make up a good doctor. Being a good listener, showing empathy and compassion, being honest, being patient and kind, acting with integrity and altruism, and of course, being a great communicator. And why these qualities are important is because we're all much more than just the machinery and chemistry of our bodies. We have minds that think and feel. We have a spirit, God's gift of life and energy, and a heart, the centre of our being that makes us who we are. In times of illness, all of these dimensions have a part to play, and they often need at least as much care as any physical abnormality showing up on a blood test or a scan. The problem is that medical science, amazing and effective though it is, has taken centre stage. For many years it has squeezed out the time, the skills, and often the interest needed to understand and engage with everything else. The goal of Prime is to restore this balance. Careful research now shows just how important these other dimensions are in causing and treating many different illnesses. For example, holding on to anger increases the risk of coronary heart disease, but the opposite, forgiveness, lowers this risk. Loneliness and hopelessness both increase the risk of cancer and heart disease and dementia. They're at least as bad for our health as smoking or a bad diet. And literally thousands of scientific publications tell us that a spiritual faith brings very definite benefits to health. These are all very good reasons for wanting to restore the heart of healthcare. But in Prime, our greatest motive and inspiration comes from the model and calling of Jesus. So let's look at just one of his encounters of healing with a frightened, depressed, and very long-suffering woman.
While Jesus was walking through the crowds, a woman exhausted with incurable bleeding secretly touched his cloak, expecting to be healed. Her cure was immediate and complete. Jesus knew what had happened, of course, but his compassion stilled her fears. Her body had been restored. So had her peace and dignity. At last she could return to her family and friends and worship in the temple again. She had been healed in body, mind, and spirit.
How then, in Prime, do we influence health professionals to practice medicine that cares for the whole person? In brief, by small teams delivering short periods of teaching in healthcare settings across the world. Our teaching takes many forms: dynamic presentations, small group discussions, clinical examples, and stories, including stories from the Bible. Role-play, acting out a scene of patient care, works really well. It brings to light how patients and health professionals think and feel, and how best they can connect over the things that really matter. Our teaching is welcomed across the world, from advanced hospitals in rich countries to small clinics in deeply rural settings. But our short overseas visits are not ends in themselves. Our aim is to build up our partners abroad so that they can establish centres of whole person teaching and care in their own locations, their own cultures. Here in the UK, the home of many of our tutors, Prime's influence is through our presence in the workplace and through teaching in hospitals and universities. By God's grace, our work has grown from very small beginnings to a worldwide activity reaching every continent. Each year, over 100 Prime tutors give some 80 teaching programs in as many as 35 countries. And we calculate that to date, we've shared our message of Christ-centred whole-person medicine with well over 50,000 delegates. Most of these have given us feedback on our teaching. Here are just a few comments.
I'm really convinced that your example had a huge influence on the young doctors and students, and that they will continue what you have started in Romania.
Here will be the change in healthcare by teaching people around the world whole person medicine.
Now I will offer better consultation services to the patient and make them feel like humans with a purpose.
These remarkable changes are clearly the result of God's blessing, but they're also built on the prayers and generosity of many. Our tutors give their time and expertise without charge, which in a year of Prime's work could realistically cost us around £500,000. We also have other costs, of course, not least running a small office in the UK to coordinate our expanding activities and to develop our teachers and teaching materials. We would love you to connect with us. A good way to start is to visit our website www.prime-international.org. You're invited to join the Prime Network to receive regular news and informative articles. From our experience across the world, we continue to see amazing opportunities to restore the heart of healthcare modelled on Jesus that will benefit literally thousands of people. Come and join with us in some way. We want to grab these openings and see yet more things happen. Thanks for listening.